Hello, CFNE. Welcome to our bedroom. All right, Coach Morgan has walked us through the 5 pillars of health. He mentioned that we have train, eat, sleep, think, and connect. He did his talk for you guys on training. Coach Alicia talked about consistency with nutrition, and now I'm here obviously to talk to you guys about sleep. So human beings are the only species on the planet that deprive ourselves of sleep, and we are really only doing it for no apparent gain other than to work more, watch TV more, and probably use our phones more. We need an average of 8 hours of sleep a night. We'll call it 7 at least, and anything more than 9 is not really doing us much more good, but on average 8. There's also a small fraction of us, about less than 1% of us, that only really need 5 hours or less, and the thing with that, the reality is that you're more likely to be struck by lightning than be one of those people that need 5 hours or less. So just assume that you are the kind of person that needs 7 to 9 hours instead. For those of us that are feeling the gains of lockdown in terms of eating more than we're used to, not exercising as much as we're used to, insufficient sleep is only making that whole thing even worse. People that are sleeping 4 to 5 hours a day are on average eating 200 to 300 extra calories, which translates into 70,000 calories a year, which translates into 10 to 15 extra pounds of body mass. So the double-edged sword of that is that all of that extra food it's not happening in carrots and broccoli and kale and green tea. It's happening in things like popcorn and ice cream and tortilla chips and wine or beer or soda. So just keep that in mind when you're losing all that extra sleep and then eating more and not staying as active as you usually do. 1 out of every 2 Americans is getting less than 8 hours of sleep, and 1 out of 3 Americans are surviving on less than 6 hours of sleep, which is kind of tragic. How it's affecting you guys, just purely speaking in terms of physical performance, it's limiting your ability to build strength, to jump high, to run fast. It's causing a premature buildup of lactic acid. It's causing it harder for you to breathe during workouts. It's causing you to fatigue 30% faster, which means that in things like the Bergeron beep test, you're feeling that workout in round 2 instead of rounds 3 or 4, which is way nicer. It's leaving you up to 60% more likely to get injured, and it's also, for the dudes, this is shocking, it's gonna leave you with a testosterone level and testicle size of another man that is 6 to 10 years older than you. And I'm not a dude, but I feel like that would be really terrible, terrible place to live in. So what to do? 5 things. Number 1, get into a routine and do it every day as much as you can, including the weekends. Your body likes routine and it likes to not stray from that too much. So even if you get a bad night of sleep, still wake up the same time that next morning and still go to bed the same time that night. Again, weekends, weekdays, same deal. Try to keep it consistent across the board. Number 2, limit lights after dinner. So if you don't need the lights on, turn them off. And if they are on, try to dim them if you can. And even better yet, which I prefer, candles are awesome. Number 3, turn off all your screens at least 1 hour before bedtime. That includes things like television, iPhone, all of that. Most of us are not staying up too late because we're reading too much. It's mostly because we're flipping through our phones or on Netflix or whatever it is. Try to shut it all down at least an hour beforehand. 1 hour of iPhone usage before bed will delay the onset of melatonin production by about 3 hours, and your peak melatonin levels will also be about 50% less. Number 4, lower your body temperature by taking a hot shower. It will pull all the heat away from your core, and actually that's why we feel like our skin gets really warm and our cheeks get rosy, because it pulls the heat away from your core. So actually a hot shower before bed is actually a really good idea to cool your body temperature down. But also the optimal temperature for your bedroom is about 65 degrees. Our brain needs to lower its temperature by 2 to 3 degrees to get sleep. So try to stay cold while you're sleeping. Number 5, nutrition. So try to not be too full when you go to bed and try not to be too hungry. And then on top of that, limit your caffeine afternoon. Try no caffeine afternoon, and the earlier the better. If you can stop at 10, even better than that. And then beyond that, alcohol. Try not to drink just try to drink as little as possible, if at all. because alcohol is a sedative. It gives you the feeling that you're getting a lot of sleep and that you're falling asleep faster and you've had a deep sleep, but it's fake sleep. It's sedation, which is not real sleep, it's fake sleep. So there you have it, your 5 things you can do to get better sleep. Start working on that, your third pillar of health. And you guys, guess what time it is? Snuggle time.